iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. So let's take a look at what happened last night. Big upset. Miami beat New England 27-20. And I got to say, look, Rob Gronkowski did this to himself. Maybe they win this game with Gronk. I'd like to think that they would. He was a dirty player. He got the week off. There you have it. Worked out justly, in my opinion. Now, let's play football. Okay? Let's move on. Let's play football. Miami just did everything right last night. And that's not usually words I use in the same sentence. Miami, right? Never. Cutler, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kenyon Drake, 114 yards rushing, 79 receiving. Damian Williams, who? I mean, I would hold on to Williams, but right now, Drake has asserted himself as an absolute starter there. And if Adam Gase screws this up, only Adam Gase could screw this one up. Jarvis Landry, 8 for 46, 2 touchdowns. But to me, more of concern was Devontae Parker still not able to figure it out and still not able to get on track. 4 for 40 when they try to get him involved. But look, I'm going to have to listen all season. Oh, Parker's looking great. Parker's playing well. Maybe he just needs a different location. I don't know what to say, but it's not working for him here. For New England, Tom Brady, 233 yards and a touchdown. Man, if you drafted Brady and you thought you were going to need him in weeks 13, 14, what a disappointment. I can't use any other words but supreme disappointment. Danny Amendola missed the goal line by about a foot. 6 for 76. Dion Lewis, 5 for 50. Rex Burkhead, 5 for 45. Brandon Cooks did nothing. 1 for 38 on 7 targets. You're Brandon Cooks. You're the best receiver the team has. You've got to do something. There was no offense there. It was terrible. So Miami wins this game, and now New England has to go to Pittsburgh and figure this out. Because if they don't, they're not going to get any home field advantage for the playoffs. Pittsburgh wins this game, and they've got a huge leg up. Now, I don't know whether Pittsburgh is going to do that. I tell you, I'm all in on New England, and if I am playing in DFS, I'm all in on Tom Brady, and I'm all in on Chris Hogan, and I'm all in on Cooks, and I'm all in. I mean, if you saw what Joe Flacco did, wait till you see what Tom Brady's going to do. All right? They're not going to blow that game anytime soon. But let's go mining the box scores for Fantasy Gold, and let's see what we can find there. I don't know if there's a lot. Look, we're in the last couple of weeks of the regular season, so am I grasping at straws? I might be. That's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to find any little thing that could separate us from our competition, whether there's a waiver wire pickup or a start that we can play, what have you. So in Dallas and New York, I just thought it was interesting that we see more of Wayne Gallman and less of Orleans Darkwa. 12 carries for Gallman, 10 for Darkwa. Alfred Morris had 19 carries. Rod Smith had 6, and Rod Smith had 5 receptions, including the big one. So Rod Smith, we knew was going to get more involved. He played well. Let's expect that over the rest of the season. Jimmy Garoppolo, since he started, Carlos Hyde had 14 carries this week. Matt Breida had 12. So remember when they had Beathard, there was only Hyde. Now Breider's getting more involved in the offense. But in terms of receiving, it's a Marquise Goodwin show. It's 12 targets for Goodwin, and everybody else just gets a few. So it's obvious that is Jimmy Garoppolo's guy. For Houston, I don't think there's any mystery here. It's DeAndre Hopkins got 16 targets. I think what would have been surprising is Will Fuller had like 3 receptions in the first quarter, and then it went all downhill after Savage left. So TJ Yates went specifically to DeAndre Hopkins all over the place. That bodes well. However, they're playing Jacksonville this week, which could be a mess, but you're never benching DeAndre Hopkins. For Chicago, Tariq Cohen got 12 carries. I was very happy to see that. Jordan Howard, 23 carries. I still would like to see Tariq Cohen with more receptions. He only had 2. I don't even want to see Benny Cunningham playing. But what I do think is interesting is that 6 receptions went to the tight end. Shaheen went 4 for 44 to touchdown. Deion Sims 2 for 32. So once again, Chicago passing to the tight end as we know that they like to do. Cincinnati, Gio Bernard caught 6 receptions, but that was late. That was very late. That was garbage time stuff. Okay? A.J. Green with 12 targets, but really did nothing with nothing there. But Brian Hill, that's a name. He ended up getting some carries. He was a guy out of Wyoming that I liked. He may be able to do something, I don't know, week 16, week 17. Maybe he's the kind of guy that you might want to stash if you're playing a week 17 thing. Playoff, which hopefully you don't. Hopefully. Indianapolis, man, they are so frustrating because Frank Gore gets 36 carries, a career high in the snow. Marlon Mack can't even play in the snow. I mean, come on. Can't play in the dome, he can't play in the snow. Where can you play him? LaShawn McCoy had 32 carries, but and I would expect that going forward. They play Miami this week. I would expect a letdown. For Miami. That Miami's got to go to Buffalo after beating New England. That smells like a letdown for me. Just smells like a letdown. So just be careful there. That would be my opinion. Detroit against Tampa. Theo Riddick had 10 carries, but he had 6 receptions. But do you know who had the most targets on the team? Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron had 11. Theo Riddick had 10. It's a big number. Then Golden Tate had 9. But I think more importantly in this game was Mike Evans. Fewer targets than Deshaun Jackson, O.J. Howard, and Chris Godwin. What gives? What is the deal? I mean, Mike Evans, I don't know if it's Jameis's, Winston's inaccuracy, Dirk Cutter's play calling, maybe he's got an injury, but it's really bad right now. It's really bad. Peyton Barber played well. I expect him to continue to play well. I can't think Doug Martin's going to play on Monday night. I just can't picture it. But then again, I'm not a moron like Dirk Cutter. Anything's possible with Dirk Cutter. Anything is possible. So Brett Hundley ran the ball 7 times last week. Aaron Jones only ran the ball 4. Jamal Williams 15 times. So I guess the bigger question is Aaron Rodgers going to play? And I think the answer is we don't know. Even Ian Rappaport saying it's difficult to predict. I would say he wants to play. They think he can play. I just don't know whether he should play. Would I play him in fantasy? Not if I had a better option. But if my option was Deshaun Kaiser, yeah, I'd play Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I would. Jordy Nelson only had 5 targets. Devontae Adams had 14 targets. 14 big targets. For Cleveland, I was very happy to see the division of targets. Josh Gordon 6, Corey Coleman 6, Duke Johnson 4. These are numbers I like. Because I didn't like to see Josh Gordon getting all the targets. When he gets all the targets, they're not going to win. They're not going to win anyway, but a better chance of winning if you're spreading the ball around. So if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs Oakland Raiders box score, you're going to see a number immediately that should tell you why the Chiefs won this game. Kareem Hunt had 25 carries for 116 yards and a touchdown. Marshawn Lynch had 7 carries for 61 yards and a touchdown. When Marshawn Lynch gets 7 carries and Kareem Hunt gets 25, you know the Chiefs are winning. Done deal. Tyreek Hill was okay, not special. Travis Kelce had 13 targets. Can't ask for more than that. 13 targets. Michael Crabtree had 13 targets also for the Raiders. That was without Amari Cooper, who I do expect back this week. Carolina, this is a very strange box score. Funchess had 7 targets and 3 receptions. Some guy named Damier Byrd had 5 targets and 5 receptions. Christian McCaffrey, 4 targets, 3 receptions, and nobody else had more than 1 target. I mean, Cam Newton wasn't throwing the ball, he was passing it. So, I don't know whether you can trust Cam Newton the rest of the way. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't feel great about it. Minnesota, Jerry McKinnon had 7 carries, Latavius Murray had 9. But remember, when they're behind, Latavius Murray is a 0. Right? So if I'm looking at Minnesota's schedule moving forward, I've got to think they're going to be beating the Bengals, thus Murray plays well. At the Packers, I like Murray. I like Murray the next 3 weeks. This was probably the week to have benched him. Thielen's out of his mind, 6 for 105, 13 targets. Diggs had 10 targets. Laquan Treadwell had 4 targets, so good to see Laquan Treadwell getting some action. So Denver, C.J. Andervomit had 22 carries. Devontae Booker had 9. So the whole Devontae Booker's the lead guy experiment outgone. See ya. Jamal Charles didn't even have a carry in this game. Demaryius Thomas had 12 targets. I mean, he had 3 times more targets than Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders was 1 for 16. He's got to be one of the worst draft picks of the year, too. Between his injury and the lack of quarterback production on Denver, guy's been a big fat 0. For the Jets, Elijah McGuire was injured. I don't expect him to play much this week. You've got Bilal Powell and Matt Forte. I'd like this to be a Bilal Powell week, but, it probably won't be. Robbie Anderson had 6 targets and Kearse had 6 targets. But, we'll have to take a look at this week with Bryce Petty. There's just very little hope against New Orleans, who should really, really run this game up. Washington at the Chargers. Melvin Gordon had 22 carries. Andre Williams had 7, but now he's out for the year. So those 7 carries should go to Eckler. That's what I'd like to see at least. Keenan Allen had 8 targets. Hunter Henry had 6. Tyrell Williams had 4 targets, 4 receptions, 132 yards. Obviously, that was kind of shocking to me there. But what wasn't shocking was Josh Doxson with a bad day. Hayward's a very good cover guy, and Doxson didn't do much. Samaje Perine had 21 touches. That's about right for him. I think he's had a very credible year. Not a great year, but a very credible year. But my worry here is that the Redskins have stopped playing. My worry is that the Redskins have quit. And if the Redskins have quit, that's a big problem. The Titans have 3 big games left. This is a must-win. Must-win against the 49ers. Then you got the Rams and Jaguars, 2 playoff teams. So the Titans season is right here. So hand the ball off to Derrick Henry over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you might have a shot. The guy scores a touchdown last week. We need him to do something. Mariota's obviously not 100%. Hasn't thrown a touchdown in, it seems like, forever. But they better hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, because otherwise this is going to be a long week. For Arizona, Larry Fitzgerald only had 7 targets. I wanted Larry Fitzgerald with 15 targets. That's what I was looking for. I was a little shocked with only 7. I was a little disappointed with only 7. Needs to be more involved in the offense. If he's not more involved in the offense, they're not going to put up offensive numbers, which is what happened. All right, for the Rams, Todd Gurley had 13 rushes. I would have liked to have seen closer to 20. He did have 3 receptions. Cooper Kupp had 5 receptions. Sammy Watkins had 3 receptions. And after that, basically, it was nothing. So out of 25 total targets, 19 were at 3 guys. 3 guys had 19 of the 25. That's a big number. Same thing with the Eagles. Torrey Smith had 11. Aguilar had 11. Jeffrey had 11. Burton had 6. They didn't throw the ball to their running backs that much. That's unusual. But they did try to run it 32 times, so they want to run it. Jay Ajayi looked the best. I mean, I don't know what to expect from LeGarrette Blount anymore. But with Nick Foles there, you would have to think they're going to rely on the run. Do you know who led the Jacksonville Jaguars in targets? D.D. Westbrook. He's legit, guys. 5 for 81 and a touchdown. Looks better and better with each passing week. Cole had 3. Marquise Lee had 6. Leonard Fournette had 6 targets. That's impressive. That's impressive to me. For Seattle, Mike Davis had 15 carries. That was good to see. McKissick had 3, but it was good to see. And Davis looked pretty good. There were some plays he looked very good. I mean, the bottom line is Russell Wilson really did very little except have 3 bombs. 3 bombs to Lockett, Baldwin, and Richardson. So his day looked a whole lot better at the end than it really was. So when you look there, and somebody was like, on my case, well, you should have played Wilson instead of Garoppolo. Wilson was crappy for the 3.5 quarters. Looked good in the last quarter when the Jaguars stopped playing. Who could have predicted that? I mean, come on. Alex Collins had 18 carries. I was more concerned that Danny Woodhead didn't get involved as much. Only 4 receptions and 2 carries. That's just not enough for me. All of Baltimore, nobody really had. I mean, Woodhead had the most receptions. So they passed it all over the place, but no one guy. Even Jeremy Maclin had 11 targets, but only 3 receptions. Not good enough. Pittsburgh, way more easy to predict. Bell, 10 targets. Brown, 18. Bryant, 10. Jesse James, 12. He throws the ball to 4 guys. Yes, there's Vance McDonald. Yes, there's Eli Rogers. But you know who gets the ball there. Now with Juju back, Juju will get the football. I like Juju this week a lot. I think he's a very interesting play. I like Jesse James a lot too. I want to check something out here. One moment, please. Please hold. Yeah, Julius Thomas had 4 targets. He could have had better plays there. I think Jesse James is interesting. Ben Roethlisberger likes to go to his tight ends primarily at home. We know that over the years, right? We know that over the years. So let's see. Any more news to worry about? Dante Moncrief ruled out against the Broncos. See ya. Chester Rogers coming in. Don't be playing Chet. Mike Tomlin. Joe Hayden will practice this week. I don't know if he's going to play. Man, they could use him badly, but I don't know if he's going to play. Ryan Shazier on the injured reserve. Marcus Peters due back this week. Dan Bailey has a hamstring injury. Okay? So I'm not sure if he's going to play. Robert Woods on track to play. Robert Woods on track to play and not a moment too soon. Chris Hogan only had 1 catch last night. I like him this week. I mentioned that. I like him this week. Let's watch that closely. Remember, New England goes to guys you never would expect to do anything. Okay? The thing about Julius Thomas, by the way, here, Cutler missed Thomas on a couple of deep passes last night. And that's why Jesse James is an interesting play next week. So just watch him closely. I think that's a game that I'm stacking in DFS. I totally am. I've got to think that that's going to be where a lot of points are scored in New England versus Pittsburgh. All right, but right now, what I encourage you to do is go to scoutdfs.com. Be a member of the Scout Army. Let us help you. Let Fuego Steve and Jaguar Lou and Steve Renner and Sean Childs, Adam Rose and Dr. Roto help you win money in DFS. ScoutDFS.com. And of course, ScoutFantasy.com. Right? Get there right now. Get on the premium message boards. Ask us your questions. Let us help you get to a fantasy championship. Only 2 weeks to go, guys. We got to do it together. But right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Wishing you a great day. Back tomorrow with Waiver Wire Wednesday. Only 2 more weeks to make some big pickups before the seasons are over. So we promise to get you some players to do it. Have a great one. Be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!